The story started by showing a man running through the chaotic city. Then it is revealed that he was being chased by a countless number of zombies. The world is in a zombie apocalypse, and it is a living hell. However, it was just a movie. Akira, the person watching, thought that the zombie apocalypse in the movie was heaven compared to his office. Then he noticed that it was almost 4 in the morning, so he had to go to sleep since he had to go to work again. And he passed out while thinking that he didn't want to go. 3 years ago, Akira was happily introducing himself to his new coworkers after getting hired by a production company. Everyone welcomed him happily, so he thought that it was a lively company with a great atmosphere, and it was his dream company, so he was full of hope, dreams, and ambition. Then he was introduced to Kasugi, the department chief. While greeting him, Akira accidentally bumped into a pretty woman named Ootori, and Akira was completely smitten by Ootori's beauty. After introducing herself, Ootori pointed to her seat while telling Akira that if he had any questions, he could come and ask her anytime. She also wishes him luck on his first day before leaving. The company throws a welcome party for Akira. He got along well with his coworkers. They asked Akira some questions about his school or what sports he plays, and they were impressed when he told them that he has been playing rugby throughout his college. But he got curious when they mentioned that he was a dependable and valuable asset for their team. He also saw Ootori, who gave him a lovely smile after noticing his innocent stare. Because of this, he realized that she was even cuter than he first thought, and he decided to work hard and show good results in order to make a good impression on her. Once the party was over, Akira thanked his coworkers before saying goodbye. However, he was surprised when they told him that they were going back to the office while taking out their ID. It was already 2 in the morning, and Akira didn't know what was going on, so he asked his coworker. But he ignored Akira's question and asked him instead to finish his task in 10 minutes. Even after an all-nighter on his first day, Akira had to continue working again the next morning. And he only realized that he had been working for a whole day again when his coworker left to buy dinner. He didn't have any idea when he could go home anymore, but finally he was able to leave the office and go home 2 days later. He immediately fell into his bed after arriving home, and he realized that he was working for one of those exploitative corporations. The next morning, Akira was still sleep deprived, and while getting out of bed, he wondered how long he would be staying in the office this time. Because of this, he felt that he didn't want to go to work. However, he encouraged himself to work hard on the career he chose. After arriving at the office, he greeted his coworkers before asking about the benefits that their company offers. Then it is revealed that they have annual paid vacation, anniversary days off, and mental health days, but no one is actually using them. He was being optimistic while looking for the company's good points. First, he thought about how his company encourages good-natured competition. But he heard his coworkers competing over who had the highest unpaid overtime the previous month. Then he thought that he was blessed with kind coworkers, as one of his seniors offered to pay for his dinner while feeling proud of his salary. But he was actually severely underpaid. Then there was also their department chief, who would shout and embarrass his employees in front of their team. Then he thought that he was surrounded by health-conscious coworkers, but they were just competing to see who had the worst sickness. Even with these conditions, Akira still lasts until his 2nd year. He is not the same bright and lively person anymore, unlike when he just joined the company. He was coughing and looking extremely tired while laying on the couch, and he smells so bad, so he remembered that he hasn't taken a bath in a while. Because of this, he thought that he definitely needed to get to the last train and go home. However, his department chief told him that since one of his coworkers had left, he needed to take over his tasks and finish them before the coming weekend, which means that it will be another all-nighter for him. While feeling down, Ootori suddenly showed up to give him some food, and he thought that the only thing keeping him sane in the company was her. However, she is actually their boss mistress. Akira was contemplating finding another job after leaving his office, and he was so out of sorts that he didn't even realize that he was almost run over by a car. Although he thought of leaving his job, he decided against it after thinking that there are companies worse than his in the industry. In his 3rd year, he had to deal with a client who asked him to revise a commercial script for the 6th time because they wanted to add the grandchild of their client to the commercial. Akira wanted to refuse, but the client threatened him by leaving the deal and going to another company. Because of this, Akira had to agree and finish revising the whole script on the same day. His messy scribbles show how stressed he was, and Kasuga's constant shouting just makes it worse. Akira was already contemplating suicide, and if the station's entrance wasn't blocked, he would have gotten himself run over by the train. After arriving home, Akira opened the television and started watching a news segment that revealed how exploitative corporations manipulate their employees to prevent them from leaving. Then they lose their ability to even make simple decisions before falling into depression, and in the worst case, they are driven to suicide. Akira realized that it was exactly his situation, and before falling asleep, he wished that he would never wake up again. After waking up, Akira cried while thinking that he didn't want to go to work. However, he still started getting dressed while watching the chaotic scenes on the screen, which reminded him of Kasuga's constant shouting in his office. In spite of all of these, Akira still took out his ID and left for work. After locking the front door, Akira noticed a letter reminding him to pay for his bike space, so he decided to look for the building manager. He knocked on the manager's door, but no one was answering. Because of this, he thought of leaving instead, as he didn't want to be late for work. But while looking around, he noticed that the door was actually unlocked, so he decided to enter. However, what welcomes him is the sight of a zombie feasting on its prey. Akira was dumbfounded, but he started running away before the zombie could pounce on him. He wanted to leave the building, but he was greeted by more zombies at the exit. Because of this, Akira had to run to the higher floors instead. He was desperately trying to escape, but he still doesn't understand what was going on. He stumbled after accidentally bumping into a door, but while on the ground, Akira had a chance to look behind him, and that's when he realized that the creatures chasing him are zombies. Akira was still thinking about his work while trying to escape. After reaching the rooftop, he noticed that everything around him was in chaos, and he screamed in joy after realizing that he didn't have to go to work anymore. He thought he was finally free, and he felt alive again. He jumped down from the roof in order to escape from the zombies, and even though he was greeted by more zombies and had to continue running away, he is just happy that he finally had a day off from work. After escaping, Akira happily thinks of what he should do for the day. He thought of going on a trip using a motorcycle, skydiving, and day drinking while binge-watching movies. He was happy that he could finally do everything that he wanted to do. However, he remembered Ootori, his first love. He wonders if she's fine before deciding to confess, regardless of whether she is his boss side chick or not. Afterwards, Akira rode a bicycle while dodging the zombies on the streets on the way to Ootori's apartment. The city is already in chaos, and zombies are everywhere. But Akira is only focused on reaching Ootori's apartment and confessing his love. Akira got her exact address by looking at their company's emergency contact list. Even though he was so eager to confess his love a few minutes ago, he still got cold feet after arriving in front of her apartment door, and he thought he would be creepy by suddenly showing up at her house. However, he used the excuse of checking Ootori's safety to convince himself to meet her. No one answered after he pushed the doorbell, and he also noticed that the door was open, so he decided to enter. But he noticed his boss' shoes right away, and he's also greeted by the sight of his boss, who is currently transforming into a zombie. Then he removed his tie as a sign of his resignation before tackling his boss to push him through the window, and the fall was enough to kill even a zombie. Afterwards, he looked for Ootori, but she also transformed into a zombie. He held back his tears before imagining that she was still alive and confessing how he fell in love with her on his first day at work. However, he had to run away while saying goodbye when Ootori started attacking him. Later at night, while drinking, Akira thought that it was like a dream that he didn't have to go to work ever again. Then he started contemplating how everyone didn't have enough time to do everything they wanted, as anyone could die at any time. Because of this, he entered the store, took a pen and a notebook, and listed down the 100 things he wanted to do before he turned into a zombie. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and look forward to the next part.